Hey there, home theater fans. My name is Todd Anderson with avnirvana.com, and we are here live in Denver, Colorado at CEDIA 2023, and I'm hanging out with Paul Hales of Theory and Pro Audio Technology. So thanks so much for joining us for a few moments.
Sure.
I want to kick this off and let everybody out there kind of understand the difference between the two brands, because you're kind of one and the same, but also different.
That's right. So Pro, which has been around since 2004, so for 19 years, has catered to the very high-end private screening room segment. Theory, which we introduced originally in 2019, it takes the same sort of approach to engineering of speakers and loudspeaker controllers and things, but it applies it to the rest of the house.
Okay.
Media rooms, distributed audio, game rooms, master bedrooms, but also commercial. So restaurants, bars, hotels, that kind of thing.
Right, and you do it, as you were saying during your demo, with relatively few products overall compared to some of your competitors.
That's right. I mean, the whole Theory sort of brand promise is to make things easier, and our speakers are just more capable, right? So you can solve a lot more problems, address a lot more kinds of applications with just a handful of products in your toolkit, right?
Right.
So unlike most companies in the same segment that have thousands of SKUs, we have a handful that go everywhere and do everything.
Okay, and that's going to lead us right into the first thing I want to talk to you about, because the beginning of your presentation, you go right into your in-ceiling speaker, and that in-ceiling speaker just blew me away. I mean, that was,
Thank you.
you know, I know audiophile sound is probably an overused term, but it was so light and airy, you know, really solid mid-range, just detailed high-end. That is pretty amazing, and you can use that as a pendant or just stick it up into a ceiling, or as it was, facing out on a wall, I guess.
That's right, right? So I got my start 35 years ago or whatever in the audiophile segment, right? So I spent from 88 to 2000 designing audiophile speakers. Then I went to QSC and designed professional loudspeakers, right?
Okay.
And so I've married them together. So we have professional style speakers that have high output capability but sound like high-end speakers. So even the ceiling speaker, right? So if you were sitting in the middle, those ceiling speakers cast a 3D soundstage.
Oh, most certainly. Yeah, it was really quite extraordinary. I definitely a lot of height to the sound also coming out of those little things, and a lot of bass. And then you also have some in-wall options in the Theory line also, and they use compression tweeters.
You won't find a dome tweeter in any Pro or Theory product. So compression drivers exclusively. Dome tweeters are very, very inefficient reproducers of sound, right? So I've never used a dome tweeter since I left the audiophile community and joined QSC. So I just have a way of making compression drivers don't sound like harsh, you know, horn speakers, right? They sound very refined and open and airy.
Right, and then things bleed right over into the Pro side of things. And is there any shared componentry between the two lines?
There was a couple of, let me think. The high frequency transducers are similar, and there's one model that's shared. Certainly the engineering approach is the same. The components are a little different. Pro speakers, once you get past a double 6-inch two-way, they're all active, biamp, triamp, quad amp. Theory has all got passive crossovers inside, but still rely heavily on DSP.
Okay. First of all, the tower speakers alone, without any subwoofer, they're digging nice and deep and tight. And then you add in your subs, and wow, a lot of impact.
Yeah, so it's a very refined speaker that has crazy output, but it's one of the best loudspeakers for music you can buy.
Yeah.
So we've got audiophile stores selling our theater speakers to audiophiles.
Right. Yeah. So one of the things I really liked about what you were saying is you have data to back up the sound that you're hearing. That plays into RP22, which is being released here at CEDIA. You know, a lot of companies, as you mentioned, don't have measurements, and you do. And in particular, you have a wide dispersion, so good off-access listening, and that's probably something pretty important for your company.
Yeah, that was a major focus. In fact, the waveguide that's in that tall speaker, the 28212 that you heard, and we were just talking about, that is almost textbook perfect off-axis. So you get great sound if you're in front of the speaker, and you get great sound if you're not in front of the speaker, and the reflections sound good, right? Which is the objective.
And last but not least, you talked about something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is subwoofers and infrasonics. You kind of hinted that you might be jumping into the infrasonic pool in the coming year. Can you drop any hints about what we might see there?
Well, I would just say this. So the very top end residential consultants that design the big premium rooms are all using infrasonic, and they've asked me to enter that space because they all specify pro into their projects. And so we will have something. I don't know if we're going to go to 3 hertz or anything crazy like that, but we might go to 7 or 8 hertz.
Right.
And we'll do it our own way, and it will be as tight and tuneful and as controlled as what you heard in there. And that's a terrible room. That room is square. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah, what we were hearing in there is not in an ideal environment, and it still sounded just absolutely incredible.
Thank you very much.
So we look forward to hopefully some infrasonics will be here next year at CEDIA.
Yep.
And aside from that, thanks for taking a few moments to talk to us today.
Sure.
And congratulations on such a great presentation in there. Really phenomenal stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, folks, if you want to dig in, actually, maybe you can tell people out there where they can find dealers or search out for some information on your products.
Yeah, so if you want to learn more about theory, go to theoryprofessional.com. And if you want to learn about pro audio technology, go to proaudiotechnology.com.
Okay, awesome. All right, that's all we have for you right now from the show floor. We'll have more coming up.